Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Frampton, and I'm doing a Let's Play on Bastion. It's an indie game that came out a little while ago, and honestly, if you haven't heard of it, I would recommend getting it. I'm playing it on computer through Steam. I'll be using a gamepad, but it does have controls for mouse and keyboard as well, and they both work phenomenally. Now, I want to try and not speak during the narration segments because, honestly, that's a huge part of what makes this game so amazing. Other than that, let's go.
He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion.
It's kind of hard to comment on this game while playing it because of the narration. You don't want to interrupt it or anything, but at the same time you do want to comment on things. I mean, one of the big things on it is the narration itself, just how fluid and amazing it is. I'll show you in a little bit on just exactly what makes the narration so great, other than the really sexy voice.
He sees what's left of the rippling walls, years of work undone in an instant, in the calamity.
Whoops. And faceplant. Now, as you'll notice, the ground kind of comes up underneath me. It's a really cool aspect because, well, solid ground, tons of it, right. Not so much. You're kind of on a pseudo sky bridge. It just continuously forms up from underneath your feet. It's a really cool idea, and it also helps to, keep everything kind of in order and on track.
That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Starts to feel his bruises, though. Kid just rages for a while.
No, that right there is exactly why the narration is so cool. They do a kind of a dynamic narration thing where the narrator actually reacts to what you do through the game. If I had just continued on, he would never have said that line about me raging. But because I sat there and busted up a lot of things, it prompted it to do so.
An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him. Must have fled here from the mines.
What's over here? Out of my way.
Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her. He sets foot inside one of Zealandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did.
Whoops.
Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief. Clang. Shield saves his hide. Windbags start turning up for last call.
I honestly wish I could do a lot more commentary on this, but because of the way the narration works, I try to keep my mouth shut, and it just kind of sucks.
More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid. the way to the Bastion out the window. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow.
Ow.
And it ain't broke.
Personally, how did that not impale him? I mean, God.
Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back. Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true.
Power shots are fun.
The kid pockets a memento from a breaker, once the fastest men in the land.
The good thing about the narration is it actually gives you a lot of backstory with how the, with basically how everything works in the game.
Right back at you.
Or, no, how everything works, but kind of like the history of the land, without actually coming out and blatantly saying, hey, this is what was there.
The emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He's a mighty fast learner. He finds the distillery right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
Also, it's kind of cool how they did the, like, their perk system here. They basically took, and their perks are forms of alcohol. Yes, this game encourages you to get drunk to do better in combat. I'll go with that one since it makes picking up things a lot easier.
The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
I don't have my weapons that I actually prefer yet, so I'm gonna have to deal with these. Oh well.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
Spin it up.
An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now.
It's kind of awkward though, because it feels like the whole world has kind of floated in the air, and they never actually... Whoops.
Kid better watch his step.
Shit. That was dumb. Also, the last really cool thing about this is the soundtrack. I mean, I'm gonna shut up and just let you listen to it.
Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did. Robs a scumbag of his last meal. Kid puts him out of his misery.
But yeah, the soundtrack is what really makes this game, and the cool feature is that if you buy the game, you actually get the soundtrack with it.
He finds the core to the Wharf District. He steals the city's heart. Might as well.
Oh shit.
Kid has a feeling he better get a move on. The place is starting to fall. Kid just keeps running. Somersaulting like crazy.
See, it even picks up the fact that I'm dodge rolling like stupid.
At last, the Skyway is in sight. Whisks him where it needs to go. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races.
Honestly, the first thing he saw was the fucking
Did
ground.
anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me.
Ooh, achievements.
We talk for a spell. There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest. Enough to point the way to the cores.
It doesn't really look like a crest. It looks like a giant gear with rope.
All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there. Then watch.
Cryptic old bastard.
I try to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right. Except no one else showed up. And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again. Growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown.
Because crystals have ground regeneration powers.
Kid ponders what to build. Kid don't know what's out there waiting for him.
Well, may as well find out.
The Skyway. Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands. Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? He heads for the Squirt Steps. Won't be no field trip this time. He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge. Somehow that old forge is still standing.
Go, damn it.
Inside the forge, Key can fine-tune those instruments of his. Kid's lifelong friends looking fit to keep on fighting.
Aw. Yeah, you have to collect those little crystal thingies. It's basically currency to upgrade your
Core ain't
weapons.
here neither, so he's gotta guess again. Keeps telling himself he better watch his steps.
Son of a bitch. Let's try down here, because honestly, I can't remember.
Scumbag can digest just about anything. Except
Loot.
for this. It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw. They say even the most rambunctious squirts can be tamed. Squirts don't make the best of friends, but they can be useful in a pinch.
Oh.
No sign of the core here. At least the kid got something for his trouble.
That's kind of neat. Sorry.
Them squirts just don't know when to quit. Up north is where the gas fella foreman used to live, tending to his flock. locked down tight in an alloy cage. A blustery old foreman keeping his fellas in check. Almost like he's showboating for the crowd. And now there's a new marshal in town.
Oh, they love me. They really love me.
He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. Might as well check the other side streets before leaving this hole.
And away I go.
He comes back, just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next.
Land regeneration powers, go. Form of a distillery.
Ain't always much to say.
Alright, I think I'm gonna cut it off from here. And well, if I continue this, well, I guess see you next time.